stoppers can be those games where the lead changes frequently, or the other variety involving the long chase, catch-up footy. Round 12, 1999 at Waverley was one such game, perhaps the most famous in footy history. St Kilda led Hawthorn by 63 points in the second term, and at half-time the margin was still a whopping 44 points. We pick up play in the third quarter as Hawthorn begins to pick up the pieces.
The third quarter from Waverley, St Kilda leading by 44 points. And on today's display would certainly give the premiership any sort of a shake that you would like. Crummell pushed a teammate in the back there. Vandenberg over to Woods. Thompson. Hodgson, did he get into his back? Burke. About the first mistake he's made all day. Smith takes it from Lord. And Thompson marks almost in, well, we could say the forward pocket.
Yeah, promising start from the Hawthorn team. I like the look of this young player, Nathan Thompson. I've always been a rap for his ability and also his mobility. He was the one involved in that initial contest with him and Hodgson. He recovered very quickly. Good awareness there by Joel Smith to set up the well-weighted kick for Thompson to run into and take an uncontested chested mark. Now this is a very important kick from Hawthorn's point of view for the start of the third quarter.
Thompson from 35 metres. Goal umpire likes it, so do the fans, and so does Thompson. It's a goal.
And they've certainly received their voice. They've got their voice back. In the first half there was nothing.
I guess Burke was between a rock and a hard place there. Snap it, goal! Half it! He's got it! It's like a Geelong when he kicked the winning goal. So Stuart Lowe kicks his third. We'll say from limited opportunities. That one from a free kick. Vandenberg kicks to half forward. Rock doesn't get the bounce. Harvey, now Rock. Crummell, Smith, through some very heavy traffic, Joel Smith. Around three of his former teammates. Hodgson pushes Thompson. Wakeland misses it. Now Thompson again. From Holland's hand pass.
Like a throw.
Harvey, Knowles.
And Everett's out too. Everett's by himself.
No one within 50 metres of Peter Everett. The boos, in case you've just joined us, he cleaned up Anthony Rock in the first quarter. Crowd out bustles Hall, if that's possible. Crawford. And Shane fumbled a lot early. Oh, that's a beautiful pass out of Harford, who marks over Thompson and has to go back. He's in trouble. Vandenberg inside the square, looks for Harford on the run, could kick this one from 45, and he has done. Two in this quarter to Harford. Holland on his own.
Yeah, he should be kicking long now. Get it down that half-forward line, put a bit of pressure on. A pack flies. It comes to ground. It's hooked back by Angelo Lekas. It'll be a mark. Thompson again. Oh, this young fella's kicked too. And he's going to kick from 35 to 40 metres, Mick.
The thing about this quarter, Pete, Hawthorn are just taking risks at every opportunity. They're trying to invent run into their game, and that's a good policy when you're down by 44 points at the main break. They've really come out in this, the third quarter, tried to run, tried to generate some enthusiasm, and by putting some score on the board, every team member has lifted accordingly.
Nathan Thompson for his third goal.
He's a beautiful kick.
This looks good. He's dumped it. The Hawks on fire here at Waverley. Everyone thought they were gone at half-time, Mick, but this is showing their true Hawthorn character.
Tucks it under his arm. Well done, Peter Everett. Trianides around Crawford. Trianides kicks to a contest on centre wing. The ball, Heatley. Koika was his opponent. Now there's a whistle. It's a Hawthorn free kick.
And Tim Elliott has gone down onto Thompson.
50 metres.
50 metres.
Well, it's two this quarter, and that's against Everett. Careful, Peter.
We might get another 50 if you're not careful. We'll get another 50. You want
50. Yes.
It'll be another 50. There you are. You can bet on it. He might get a...
They'll be right on the goal line.
He might get a third one, Mick.
Yeah, well, irrespective of what happens, I'll be taking Peter Everett straight off the ground. You just can't afford undisciplined acts like that when you can still control your emotions. Spider is a terrific player, terrific competitor, but he knows to give away 100 metres when the ball's 140 metres from goal, and all of a sudden a player who's the defender has a shot on goal and should kick it. Undisciplined play.
Pollock against the goal. And would you believe it, there is only 9 points the difference.
Downcast and demoralised, St Kilda was still in there in the last quarter.
Lord short of the centre circle. No goal scored so far in the final quarter. Young, the run from the back. That's a mark. The mark is there at half forward for Hawthorn.
Yeah, the signs are certainly ominous.
Holland.
He's been terrific since quarter time. There's no doubt about that. He keeps finding front position, and that's a sign of a good forward. Good strength in the upper body to get Wakelin off the line of the ball coming forward.
Well, two much maligned players. Matthew Richardson last night with 6, and Holland so far today with 3. I think this weekend have answered their critics. The fish has been patched up. He will be back.
And here's another interesting change. Crummell's come off the ground. Dixon, who hasn't had a lot of ground time, he's only had 2 possessions. He's the type of player that could bob up and kick a couple of goals in a few minutes.
Holland from 50. Hawthorn are in front for the first time.
Well, good players respond to pressure.
You get to this stage, you think, well, neither team should lose. Walton will punch. Healy in front, Leckers.
Keep your feet.
It's good, Leckers.
Vandenberg, just couldn't complete it. Gets it back again in the hand pass. He spent a bit of time on the bench. Vandenberg needs to sit here. Chance for the Hawks. Collicker was it? Who goes at
Dixon.
goal? Dixon, he's got it.
He was the player. He was the actual player that we thought might have been the difference coming off the interchange bench when Crummell was removed from the ground early in the last quarter. But that's terrific stuff there by Hawthorn. But you go back to the half-back flank. That's where it all started. Leckers kept his feet, and the St Kilda player went to ground. You cannot afford to go to ground in a one-on-one contest when the ball's in disrepute.
Well, Hawthorn by 7 points now. And my mind casts back to a number of years ago when they knocked off Geelong at the old Optus Oval.
Gary Ayres went to the centre.
He did, and they came back and won it. But can they do it? Here's Robbie Harvey from 70 metres, a one-on-one contest. Hall in front, up away. They'll go to the line. Mark Graham, good play, Mark Graham. He should knock it on. He does. Is that in the back? Yes. Oh, what a performance this. 3.5 minutes still to go. There's time for the Saints if they're good enough.
Yes, plenty of time for the Saints to tie it up. Yet 3.5 minutes of play. A little bit early to go defensively.
Ooh.
He was almost out of bounds.
Tapped it out too.
Yes, yeah, good call.
But he copped it in the back first.
And the best player on the ground up to the half-time break in Tony Brown. He's been removed from the ground. Woods has done a magnificent job on him, only allowing him 3 possessions in 2.5 quarters.
Well, who would have
Thompson's
believed that?
come back onto the ground.
Salmon on his own. Sort of uncontested marks that St Kilda was taking in the first half.
Look at him slowing it down, Pete.
Has to, and he'll kick to the longest target, definitely in the Thompson or the Holland area.
And hug the boundary line.
Hug the boundary line. This is what experience is all about.
Sounds like Mike Williamson in the '66 grand final.
Yeah, hit the boundary line.
That's the one.
Another one we lost, the Magpies.
Yes, Holland in front. Burke, almost a throw there. Carr, Young clear of Woods, kicks to half forward. They've got to get a goal here. Barry Hall's got it. Play on. He tries to break the tackle while holding the footy.
That's a great tackle. But he didn't have much chance all the same.
Bit tough, wasn't it?
Trent Crave was very good in the tackle. Really strong. Hall is a strong man, but to hold the tackle and hold him up was good play.
Leckers. Angelo Leckers at right half back.
This will go down if they win at Hawthorn. One of the great victories, Pete.
Well, it would. And you mentioned that Geelong game at Optus Oval. That was a great comeback, but I don't think they were behind by that far, and they had it on the other foot.
They were about 9 goals down at half-time that day.
I wish you stopped mentioning that, boys, please.
Couchy, you
Sorry,
can tell
Couchy.
the truth.
Yes, they had a slow sentiment, I think, Geelong that day.
Off the hands of Taylor and Smith. And Hawthorn would like to see the boundary line here. They do. Of course, Hawthorn were on the end of another comeback. That was in Brisbane. by the then Brisbane Bears. I think the Hawks led by 45 points or something at three-quarter time and got rolled in the heat.
I love that Hawthorn coach's box. There's some animation there.
Salmon goes for the boundary line. All right, I'll ask you one. Is that deliberate?
No. No, because he did punch it back towards the boundary, but when you're 25...
You see it so often, though, don't you?
Yeah, they never play it. They never play it in ruck contest. Here's Salmon. Oh, look at that. Oh, what a punch. A 30-metre punch and gain another 30 round the boundary line. Oh, that was fantastic play by Salmon and wasting valuable time. We're down to a minute and a half. Look at Salmon. He's like a big general out there. They have to score 2 goals to win the game. That's the Saints. Well done, Harford. Oh, cleverly done. He brings it in towards half forward area. Oh! Ben Dixon, a one-hander. He's a huge kick. He's a left footer.
He doesn't have to hurry. He can just take the ball in his own stride.
Look at that.
Assess his options, Pete.
Well, he'll have to kick it 65 metres to score a goal, but at least he'll be putting it up in the goal square. And it'll be difficult now for the Saints. In fact, he's still, no, don't do that, son. Go for the top of the square. That's the way. That's the kick. He puts it right up there to put the pressure on. Nick Holland! Oh, Holland's taken a ripper.
How good's he been?
Oh, he's taken it 10 metres out. Look at the emotion of Anthony Rock.
Magnificent, that.
And Holland has really stood up when he had to be counted. He's kicked 4 and about to maybe kick his 5th.
Yeah, a lot of people have questioned his ability, Nick Holland. A lot say that he's overrated. I don't know how they can say that, but in terms of the general perception,
Richardson
Nick
last
Holland,
night, Holland today, they've both answered him, Mick.
No doubt.
I don't know. No one ought to say he's overrated. He's a good player.
But in the football public, a lot of people do, don't they, Pete?
They do.
And that's much maligned because he's a player that really works hard.
So
as far as I'm concerned, he's a real competitor.
Well, he's about to kick his 5th and shut the gate. He's kicked it. What a performance, Hawthorn. What a performance, Nick Holland.
Look at that. That's what the exhilaration of victory is all about. 22 seconds on the time clock to go. What a remarkable effort. 9 goals to 1 at quarter time. 11 goals to 4 at half time. Trailing by 44 points, but this Hawthorn team has certainly turned it around. Much to the efforts by that man on screen on the ground, on his back, picked himself up to kick a goal.
Well, it's one of the great comebacks. Bill Collins wrote off Kingston Town at 1. We virtually wrote the Hawks off when they trailed by 51 points at quarter time, and they're going to get up and win. So I guess as commentators we should learn, but the Hawks will look at this tape back for a long time. Be great motivation for them, a bit like the Aussies in the cricket the other night.
And a bit like the old Hawthorn sides in the late 80s, in the 80s, when you just never write them off, they come from impossible positions.
But how they've come back, they've worked and worked and worked. And there's the siren, and that does cap one of the most remarkable Hawthorn victories I have seen.
Hawthorn by 13 points, and those true footy fans who hadn't gone home at half-time were treated to a beauty. Holland with 5 goals, one of the architects, along with Paul Salmon.